Okay guys, let's continue digging into all the new goodies that came with firmware 1.3.74. We're going to go over another one of the major improvements. Block settings that allow you to create block presets. Now you may be wondering about the word block and what it means in this context. I don't know which company started it first, but I'm guessing it was either Line 6 or Fractal. Now when I was making videos for the Fractal modelers, we added blocks to the presets, like an amp block, a cab block, a comp block, a delay block, etc. Then you would click on a block and select the type, which would be any one of the amp models or any one of the cab models, etc. So when you look at a Fractal preset, it looks like a big string of blocks. Fractal isn't big on the graphic side of things, so there aren't pictures of amps, cabs, effects, etc. Now you don't hear too much about the word blocks when associated with the Tone Master Pro. I mean, I don't really do it myself anymore either because the Fender way of putting things together is so different from Fractal's way that they're not blocks, they're amps, they're cabs, they're effects. However, in this particular setting, I guess it does make sense to call them block settings that you can save for block presets, because in this case, block refers to amps, cabs, and effects. So you don't want to say amp settings, amp presets, cab settings, cab presets, delay settings, delay presets, etc. Block settings and block presets. Hope that makes sense. Now, IRs don't have any block settings or block presets, but then again, there's only so much you can change on an IR. Pretty much everything for an IR is baked in. Okay, so we've gone over what a block is, but what's a block setting? It's a way of saving a particular set of parameters for a particular block. For example, let's just say you're using a delay, but you do not use the default settings. You might change the time a little bit. You might change the feedback a little bit. You might even drop the mix down a little bit. Those are all parameters that right now you have to change those individually every single time. But with block settings and block presets, you can save those. So let's say you saved 3 blocks of amp settings for 1 amp. The first block setting is clean. Second block setting is crunchy. Third block setting is thermonuclear. Now, anytime you create a new preset that uses that amp, you can just call up one of those block presets and you do not have to go through and adjust it by hand anymore. It's done for you right away. Now, if that still seems confusing to you, try this. You have presets on the Tone Master Pro so that you don't have to manually make your settings every single time, right? You save your preset and you can recall that preset at any time. Then you can go up another preset and recall that preset. Or you can go down a couple presets and recall that preset. But recalling any preset is instantaneous. You don't have to adjust the knobs every single time. You know, just press a foot switch and you're there. Okay, now you can think of block presets as presets within presets. Let's say that your preset has, a drive, an amp, a delay, and a reverb. You can set up 5 block presets for each one of those blocks, and just building a new preset, you would have 20 different settings that you could choose from instantly to create a new preset. Now, if you use the default settings all the time, block settings and block presets are not for you. But using myself as an example again, the Nashville OD is my favorite overdrive in the Tone Master Pro, but I do not use the default settings. So every time I add it to a preset, I have to manually adjust the settings on the Nashville overdrive. Now, it's not a big deal, but it would be nice if I could just save those settings and just pull them up whenever I want to. Well, now, with block settings and block presets, I can do exactly that. But enough talk about block settings and block presets. Let's create some block presets using the Pro Control app. I've opened up the Pro Control app and I'm starting with a new preset, number 152, which is empty. I'm going to add 4 blocks: dirt, amp, delay, and reverb. This is a basic live use preset You know, folks have been using this setup for decades, and for a lot of guys, it will still get the job done just fine. Now, like I said earlier, if you only use default settings, then all you have to do is set up an on-off foot switch for the dirt pedal, and you're ready to save this preset. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've set up an on-off foot switch for the Nashville Overdrive. Now, like I said at this point, if you use default settings, you can just save the preset and you are good to go. But if you're like me, you tweak all of those blocks. And it can take anywhere from a minute to 20 or even more minutes dialing in each block. I mean, let's see here. First we'll dial in the Nashville Overdrive, and I'm doing this really, really quickly, guys. I turn off the bass cut, I turn up the level just a little bit, and I turn down the drive just a little. Okay, then I would go to the amp, turn up the treble just a bit, and turn up the volume one notch, just one notch. Stereo tape echo, time left, I will drop that down to 480 milliseconds. Time right, I'll bring that up to 680 milliseconds. Feedback at 30% is good. Mix is way too high. So I'll bring this down to like, say, 9%. And let's see, large plate reverb. Drop the mix down to like, say, 13%. Turn the decay up to, say, maybe 45%. And I would turn up the diffuse to 40%. Now I'll hit save, and we will call it manual block settings. Okay, so now you've saved your preset, and let's just say it took you anywhere from, like what I did, a few minutes up to a half hour to set it up just exactly perfect. But what if you want to use some of your carefully tweaked settings in another preset? Well, you can always try to set it up by ear again, using another half hour in the process, or you can take screenshots and then build your preset again, or you can try block settings. I'm going to click on the dirt drive, the Nashville Overdrive, and if you remember right, spectrum was the only parameter that wasn't adjusted. Well, see down here where it says block settings? Click there. Now it's where it says save block settings. Okay, so now you're at the save block settings panel. It asks you to enter a custom name for block settings. Put in a name. Right now, I'm just going to call it Doug's Best, because why not? Click on Save, and that's it. You have just made your first block setting. Now click on Replace, and see, there it is, along with two others that I made earlier. I can either click on Nashville Overdrive and get the default, my Nashville OD1, my Nashville OD2, or Doug's Best. And guys, that's how easy it is. I've created block presets for the other three blocks, so let's see how long it takes to build this preset again using block presets. Okay, go to Empty, click on Plus, Nashville Overdrive, Doug's Best. Click on Confirm. Okay, now we'll pick out our amp. See, I have three here for the 65 Deluxe Reverb Blonde. Let's click Clean. Select Confirm. Now let's get our delay. Hey, let's click Big Al. And now let's get our reverb. And there it is, guys. What did that take? Around a minute? And now let's do the foot switch assign. Okay, that took, a total of not even 2 minutes. It took as much time to come up with a title and to assign the foot switch for the Nashville Overdrive as it did to put it together. So now, if you take this out further and go through all the amps, cabs, and effects that you use, you can create up to 5 block presets for each of them and your days of building each preset by hand is over. This will make preset creation a lot easier. Block presets have the potential to make preset creation go a lot faster. Now it's up to you to come up with some unique block presets, but then you can have a sound that is uniquely your own. Now for one example, let's go back to those 3 amp block presets that we talked about: clean, crunchy, and thermonuclear. How about setting up a new preset and then having 3 foot switches within that preset? Each one would either activate the clean or the crunchy or the thermonuclear block preset. And then you can switch link them so that you can only have one on at a time, and you can click back and forth between them as fast as you want. And that's just one example, guys. So let me know how you plan on using it and what you've come up with. I would love to hear about it. And if you're still here, thank you so much for stopping by and sticking around. I really do appreciate it. If you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, leave them here and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Now, a lot of the suggestions are starting to pile up, and that's a good thing, guys, because I'm going to have video content for you at least all the way through summer, well into fall. So keep those ideas coming. I'll add them to the list. Now, next Wednesday, I will have all new content about the new firmware. You don't want to miss that. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. All right, guys, have a spectacular weekend, and I'll be talking with you again next week.